Hey folks, I'm Chris. Today isn't going to be a module showcase on its own, it's more of a revisiting one of my old videos that covered the whole PDF to Foundry workflow. But honestly, it doesn't really need a full redo, as the idea behind it, what I'd call version hopping, is still accurate and still works. Instead, I'll dive into how to get the stuff working when things aren't fully up to date, with the help of the community of course. But before I get into that, I noticed something when I was digging through the module itself. But wait, let's scroll back a bit. Recently, and depending on when you're watching this, there might be a humble bundle going called Pathfinder Primer. That bundle includes a bunch of new DM and player center PDFs. Honestly, I consider most of them a must-have, and this bundle actually made me remember the module, as I do have some purchases from previous bundles that I haven't even looked at. In my case, both Strength of 1000 and Fists of the Ruby Phoenix are sitting in my library collecting virtual dust. We are going to attempt to add the latter into Foundry. Here's the catch, there is a Foundry module mentioned before that takes the PDF and converts it into usable actors, scenes and journals in Foundry. It does most of the heavy lifting for you, only with limited fine-tuning on your part. But unfortunately, it has not updated to version 13. Which means, unless someone picks it up, there is a good chance this module will slip into lost media territory. So the module we're trying to install today is called PDF to Foundry, originally created by Fry Guy. As always, we head to the install module screen, pop the name in the search bar, and absolutely nothing shows up. Now the reason for this is almost always a version mismatch. The author has marked the latest version of the module for Foundry V12, but since you're here, both you and I are running the latest V13. The Foundry Package Manager, being helpful, filters out anything it thinks is incompatible. So, our first step is to do a little detective work. Let's jump over to the module's official page on the Foundry website, and sure enough, right here it says latest version 12. That confirms our theory. The official release isn't tagged for our version of Foundry yet, but that doesn't mean it's broken. This is where the community comes in. For this specific module, the fix is on its GitHub page. Now a quick but important note. The same principle applies to a ton of other modules. The solution might be on GitHub, might be in a dedicated Discord server, or in the module's common threads from forgotten Reddit posts. While trying to revive a module, a bit of research on your end is always needed, but the process is usually the same. Back on GitHub, let's head over to the GitHub issues page. And look at that, right at the top is an issue titled Import Button Missing in V13. But also, right below it, not compatible with Foundry V13. As we'll open it, we'll notice that this is a duplicate issue, which just means that a lot of people are running into this. Let's open the second one up, and here we go. Scrolling down through comments, we find a post from a community member named Mains, and apologies if I'm butchering the name, who has shared a new updated manifest URL. If we check his profile, we see a new update with a recent date, which is always a good sign. And if we look below, we have a link provided by the developer, and this should point out that it is currently compatible with the newer Foundry builds. I'm simply gonna copy this new manifest link to my clipboard, going back to Foundry, and this time we're not gonna be using the search bar. Instead, we click here on this little tab that says manifest URL. This is where we can paste the direct link to the module JSON file. I paste the URL we got from GitHub and hit install. Boom. There it is. The module installed successfully, and now it appears on our list. All that's left is to go activate it in our world, and we're good to go. Alright, now that we have the module installed, it's time to put it to work. I'm gonna create a brand new world for this specific adventure path. This is a good idea for a couple of reasons. First, it keeps things organized and separate from your other games. And second, a large import like this can add a ton of assets. Maps, tokens, journals, and we want to avoid slowing down any of the existing worlds. So world created, let's jump into it. First things first, we need to activate the module. Heading over to Configure Settings menu, select Manage Module, find PDF to Foundry module and activate it. It will prompt you to restart the world, which we'll do so now. Once we're back in, if we go back into the Game Settings tab, right here at the bottom, you'll see a new button, PDF Important. Let's click that. Off screen, I've taken the liberty of putting the PDF, in this case Despair on Danger Island, into a folder in my Foundry data directory. But you could actually place this anywhere on your computer. The importer will let you browse for it. Down here you see source PDF options. I'm gonna click choose file and select the PDF from the first volume of the adventure path. Okay, now just hit import. Depending on the size of the PDF and your PC speed, this might take a hot minute. While we wait, a super important pro tip, read the summary right here. It tells you exactly what this import will include. Also, check the tabs at the top. AP, Standalone, PFS. They show what types of PISO content is supported. It's always good to manage expectation before the import finishes. And there we go. Import complete. If you close this and look at our sidebars, we can see it's been busy. We now have a full set of journal entries, all the scenes and maps, and a whole compendium of actors. It's honestly incredible, but we're not quite done yet. Most adventure paths come with a second crucial PDF, should be named Interactive Maps. This contains a high-resolution VTT-ready version of the maps. With that in mind, we're gonna be running the importer again. Same button, but this time we're selecting the interactive maps. This is a bit of a cool part. The module itself is smart enough to recognize that these maps are for the adventure we just imported, instead of creating duplicates. It will simply replace the existing scene artwork with these new higher quality versions. Again, be patient. This will take a little time. Perfect. Now let's take a look at the battle maps. Okay, so we had everything imported with minimal effort on our part. However, there's almost always a little bit of post-import cleanup needed, and that's perfectly normal. For example, on this specific map, you might notice that the journal node tokens aren't perfectly aligned. Luckily, it seems just to be this one map. Everything else is spot on. For me, an horizontal offset of about 620 and a vertical offset of 30 lined it up almost perfectly. But for the grid itself, it's going to be your own homework. Finally, for those who love using dynamic tokens, myself included, which I also highly recommend, the module already has done most of the work for you. It extracts all the artwork from the PDFs into a folder called PDF to Foundry, right in your Foundry data directory. And this gives you easy access to all the portraits and artwork. Then you can use a module like Tokenizer or tools like Photoshop for that matter to create beautiful circular tokens in seconds. I'll leave a link that covers in detail on how to use Tokenizer to create dynamic token rings in the description below to help you out with that. And with that, we've taken PDF to Foundry that we couldn't see and turned it into a fully featured, kind of ready to play adventure with high quality maps, journals, and tokens. It is an incredible time saver. Hi there, Chris in Post here. I had an internal struggle with creating this specific part. I wasn't really happy where the tutorial has been left off, so I decided to create a macro for those who have premium modules already installed, such as the beginner box or Claws of the Tyrant or any others, to have the styling of the journal look much better. Premium even. I'm gonna set the default as for the beginner box. However, for those who like to go into the nitty and gritty, you're able to change the display to any paid adventure you own. You need to go into the adventures MJS file, .mjs to be specific, and look for const css_class and simply replace what's between the quotation marks into my macro. Save the macro and make sure the premium module is active when you run it. That's it. Thank you guys. If this video helped you to get your game set up, definitely hit the buttons below for future Foundry VTT tips. It really helps the channel out. Thank you for watching and I'll see you at the table.